Greetings, everyone. This is Payment Loans, your host, your friend, your coach. Today, we're kicking off day 3 of the April class of the 5-day Profitable Podcast Launch Challenge for the month of April 2025. Can't believe it's already April and already 2025, but that's how it goes. So today, we're going to be talking about something incredibly powerful, and that's going to be crafting your offer. So let's get going. Let me share my screen. Do you guys see my screen? Okay. So today it's the next step. As I said since the beginning, everything builds from the previous day. Day one, we talked about the tremendous power of podcasting. Day two, we honed in on your zone of genius. And today we're going to take your zone of genius and we're going to use that and start crafting your irresistible Godfather offer, which is going to be built around your zone of genius, around one pain point that you're solving and addressing to your offer, podcast, and business for one very specific person. And we're going to also introduce a very key principle of business that completely took my business to the next level. And that is an absolutely non-negotiable of a successful offer. And that is having a quantifiable, measurable end result. Credit must go where credit is due. I learned this from Dan Henry, one of the most successful marketing and business minds out there. And anyways, let's get going. So before we start, any questions about anything we covered on day two so far? Day two was about identifying your zone of genius. All good? All right, cool. Let's move on. So when it comes to selecting a niche, the wrong question to ask is, so what niche should I select? Because it's not about selecting a profitable, trendy, or sexy niche, because can you make money that way? Sure, you can. But is it really sustainable? No, because you're going to run out of steam. Instead, it's about the niche you're going to be selecting is you need to look inwards inside of you, as I said. It's going to be built around your skills, your talent, your expertise, your experience, wisdom, and gifts. In other words, around your zone of genius, what I've been talking about all this long. Your zone of genius will dictate and will tell you exactly what is the one pain point you can solve at the highest level and for who very specifically. And then we're going to take that and build your business, your offer, your messaging, and your podcast, the YouTube channel around that. So that's how you select the right way, the profitable way, the impactful way, your niche. Does that make sense? Okay, cool. As we mentioned earlier, the number one reason why most entrepreneurs online fail is because they lack clarity. And as you guys will see throughout today and the rest of the week, this is incredibly important. Because if your message is too vague, it's not going to resonate with anyone. And that's going to result in you not getting any leads, no revenue, no business, Might have to shut down shop and go look for a business. Sorry, for a job. One of the best ways, here's a very good real life test. It's called the dining table test. Imagine you're sitting with a group of friends or people you just met, and one of them leans over and asks you, so Sophia, Lorna, Travis, Michael, Elijah, what do you do? If you start your answer with, well, it's kind of complicated, or let me tell you a story, or this is how it started, you're starting on the wrong path, because that means that you don't have clarity. You need to be able to answer that question in a very simple sentence and in such a clear way that the person knows exactly what you're doing without them having to ask you for further clarification or following questions. So that is very clear. If you can answer a question that way, then you're golden. Absolutely golden. Try this test. Or for example, let's say that your son, your daughter, your partner, your friend ask you, so what do you do? You want to be able to answer that question in such a way that it's so clear that the person knows exactly what you're doing without them asking for clarifications, or even worse, for them to be looking like, huh? What do you mean? What is that? Does that make sense, guys? Because if you cannot answer that question in such a clear way, then you don't have a clear business. And I would even argue that if you cannot answer that question in such a clear and concise and equivocal way, then you may not even have a business. Hello, Michael. You joined us at the right time. Thank you, brother. So, try this test. Ask the person next to you next time, or even have one of your closest person to you, your partner, your friend, your siblings. Role play with them. Ask them. Ask each other. So what do you do? And they should be able to. The goal is to reach a point that you can answer that question in one simple answer in a way that is very clear. So that's really something very important, because in fact, I can say that over the last 5 years since I started my podcast and 4 years since I started my academy, 95 to 99% of the people who were struggling with their business is because they couldn't answer that question in a simple, concise, one-line answer. It's because that means they don't have clarity. Again, that's something I'm going to be coming to again and again and again, because clarity is the name of the game. And on the other side of the coin, there's a very real cost for not having a lack of clarity. I want all of you and all of us in here to really look within and ask ourselves, how much is not having clarity in your offer costing you and your business each month? For example, in a more specific way, how much money per transaction is that costing you? How much more can you charge if you did have laser focused clarity in your offer? How much money are you leaving on the table just because you don't have clarity in your business? That can be the difference between charging, say, $1,000 to $10,000. I'm not joking. Once you know exactly, laser focus, what you're doing, for who, and I'm going to introduce another very powerful factor, and that is how long is it going to take for them to reach that outcome, then that's when the magic happens. That's when, once you have clarity yourself, then you will attract other people that also have clarity. And people who have clarity, that means they're successful. That means they have disposable income and they understand the power of investing in themselves, and they will be able, ready to invest in whatever program you have to offer. So full circle to this, clarity is incredibly, incredibly important. Do you guys see how that is so powerful? So let's do some quick back and forth here. Looking at your existing business, how much is costing you not having clarity in your business, not even per transaction, but per each month on average? Do you think you can charge more, maybe even 2, 3, 4, 5, 10x more, if you're to have laser focused clarity on one very specific pain point for one very specific person? That doesn't mean that you cannot help them with pain point number 2, 3, and 4. Actually, I would say once you've helped someone in a very specific way on one very specific pain point, the chances of them wanting you to help them with pain point number 2, 3, and 4 are much, much higher, because you've proven, hey, I can help you. I know what I'm doing. I'm good. And you've built that trust. Oh, Sophia left. Okay. Thank you, Sophia. Does that make sense, guys? All right. So let's hear it. How much do you think it's costing you right now for not having clarity in your business and in your offer? Just throw a number. Doesn't have to be exact, but take your best guess.
Thousands, tens of thousands, easily.
Absolutely. How much more can you charge if you did have, and once you do have that clarity? Like, let's say, how much are you charging now? And how much do you know and believe that this is actually really, truly worth? For example, for me, I know I can charge $10,000, $20,000 for my offer. My coach has told me, my siblings, they're not entrepreneurs, but they're very successful in corporate careers. They're all telling me, why are you so undercharging? I'll get at that in a moment. But so yeah, this is, guys, incredibly important. Once you have that clarity, it can literally allow you to 2, 3, 4, 5, 10x your offer overnight. And I'm going to share with you on Friday other ways that you can do that even more powerfully, even more faster. Because Friday is going to be all about money, how to make money, how to monetize your podcast. All right, let's move forward. Our two most important tasks as an activator, as a mentor, as a coach. The number one, the main one, is to educate your audience, your prospect. What is the problem they're having? Because we don't know what we don't know. I have issues, problems I'm not even aware of, and that applies to all of us. Your number one goal is to educate them. What is the problem they're facing? Why the problem is here in the first place? And what's going to happen if they don't take any drastic action towards fixing it? And once you do that, it's going to do wonders, because not only you will basically will be sharing your story of how you've overcome that. In the process, you will be displaying your expertise because you've overcome it. And in the process of that, because you will be speaking from the heart, you will be building that trust with them, that rapport. That's very, very important. And once they fully understand the gravity, the seriousness of the issue they have, and because you were the one that made them fully aware of that, you become in a way the hero, because you didn't start with straight up just pitching at them. No, never start with just pitching. First is to educate, make them understand what is the problem, why it's here, what's going to happen if they don't take any action. And because you were the one that opened their eyes, not only they will see you as an expert, as an authority, as a leader, but most importantly, they will see you as their expert, their authority, their leader, their go-to person. And then the next question that they will ask is, oh, wow, how do I fix this? Well, glad you asked. That's why I'm here. It's going to be a natural, automatic, organic progression. Because at that point, because they know that you know your stuff, you've taken the time to really open their eyes, then they will be much more open to having you help them. Do you see how that works, guys? Does that make sense? So that's our most important task as an activator, a mentor, a coach. The second important task we have is, once we've achieved task number one, is to make them understand, believe, and realize that they can do it. Sure, I can do it. I did it. You did it. He did it. She did it. They did it. But what about little me? That's the ultimate question. When someone is looking at investing money in a program, the three main questions they're asking is this. Number one, is this person competent? Can I trust him or her? And the big one, the last one, the decisive factor, the deal breaker, deal maker is, can I do it? Can I do it? Because let me give you some examples. Let's say I were to tell you, oh, let me help you become the next six-figure coach or speaker. For someone that's not done it, it's impossible. Or let me help you get fit or get a six-packs. For someone who's busy with life, with kids, with work, they don't have the time to go to the gym. It's impossible. Instead, give them a taste of a small win as soon as possible. Here's what I mean. Instead of being with like all the other coaches being very vague, oh, let me help you become happy, fit, fulfilled, which is completely vague and can mean two different things for two different persons. Break it down to the smallest step. There's a very powerful African proverb that says, how do you eat an elephant? Nobody's a mouth big enough to eat an elephant. You eat it one bite at a time. Even a toddler can eventually finish eating an elephant. That's a silly example, but just to give you an idea. So instead of saying, oh, let me help you become financially independent or a successful coach or get fit, what if you were to tell them, hey, let me show you how to get your first paying client in 30 days, in as little as 30 days, by leveraging the power of Facebook or LinkedIn organically, even if you have no audience. Now it's very clear. They can see themselves getting that first client. And once they've got that first client, all they have to do is replicate those steps to get client number 2, client number 3, number 4, 5, and that's when they reach their goals. One of the businesses I was involved myself 5 years ago was helping a friend of mine in e-commerce. I used to live in China, e-commerce, build and sold a business. So I know e-commerce, especially selling on Amazon. A friend of mine, 7-figure Amazon seller, he made a post on Instagram in March of 2020 asking for help, for suggestion to relaunch his Amazon course. I reached out to him and said, listen, don't launch another course because of billions of courses. Instead, make it unique, make it stand out, make it a challenge. So I suggested to him, hey, let's turn that into a 90-day challenge where we help complete beginners out to find, select, source, and launch the first product on Amazon in as little as 90 days. That was a slam dunk. He called me, he asked me, oh, let's become partners. And in 2020, if you remember, the world was completely shut down. Logistics were shut down. We were still able to help 5 groups of complete newbies launch their profitable products on Amazon. So again, the point is, or if someone wants to become fit, don't tell them, oh, let me get you to become fit or get the 6-pack. Instead, show them, hey, let me show you how to lose 10 pounds in 30 days with just one exercise, 5 minutes a day. This way they can see themselves, hey, it only takes 5 minutes. I don't have to go to the gym, spend 2 hours, drive to the gym, find a parking, struggle to the traffic and all that nonsense. Again, the point is, break it down to the smallest bite so they can get a fast win that's going to give them that belief that they can do it. Because the ultimate question they ask before pulling the trigger and taking the credit card is, okay, that sounds good, but can I do it? We've all been there. Does it make sense, guys? So again, remember, your number one task is to educate them so they understand what is a problem, why it's there, and what would happen if they don't fix it. And then once you've done that, make them believe, understand, and realize, hey, you can do it. So moving on, the keys to a Godfather offer. Again, it's all around one thing and one thing only, clarity. Clarity is the name of the game. Clarity as to what is the one specific pain point you're solving and addressing through your podcast, your offer, your business, your messaging, everything else. And then clarity as to who exactly are you able to help at the highest level. And the last one is a time frame. How long is it going to take for them to get that desired outcome? That's something we all want to know. These 3 factors are absolutely non-negotiables in creating your irresistible Godfather offer. Does it make sense? Is it clear? Yes, go ahead, Lorna.
Thank you. I'm curious why you call it a Godfather offer.
Because it's an offer that cannot, just like it's a funny allusion to the movie The Godfather. It's an offer they can't refuse. Or as Alex Hormozi likes to say, an offer is so good that people would feel stupid saying no to. Highly recommend you guys get this book. Best book ever. $100 million Offers by Alex Hormozi. He's absolutely the godfather of marketing and business. It's a big book. It's one of the only books outside of my own books that I carry with me and I travel all the time. This book is worth its weight in gold. It's the best $20. You guys are in the US, in Canada, it cost me $20, but in the US is only 99 cents. Best book ever. Even better, get the Audible. Alex Hormozi says the best way to learn is read at the same time as listening to the Audible, because this way your brain retains it twice as fast. Read at the same time as listening to the Audible. This is the book. It's literally the Bible of business. Best book ever on marketing and business. Get it, guys. $100 million offers. Anyways, so again, moving on. The number one pain point is where it's at. The more specific we are as to what exactly we're solving, the more magnetic your message will be. And the more magnetic your message will be, the more profitable it's going to be for you. And the best way to achieve that, again, it's not rocket science. You don't have to go learn a new skill, enroll into another 5-10 year course at university. No, it's just to look within, build it around your zone of genius. So the two key principal foundations of this, not just a podcast, a profitable business: number one, clarity; number two, zone of genius. This is what we're doing. Essentially, once you have that, then you have the foundation to build a very impactful and profitable, not just a podcast, but a business. Do you guys see how all of these two are so important and at the very base of all that? Cool, awesome. So again, just a recap of everything I've been saying so far. Also, another very important component of this is your avatar is ultimately is yourself. If you were to build your business, your offer, your messaging, your podcast the way you wished existed, you're golden. Because we've all been in programs after you paid. Good luck to get a hold of the person, or good luck when you get on calls. You member number 375, you get on a call, you can't get access to the people, you have a question, send a ticket, we'll get back to you before Christmas, 3565. We've all been there. So I've built my podcast, my program, everything the way I wished it existed. So this is why I purposely limit the number of people that attend my challenges, my academy classes, to 5 to 10 on purpose, so I can work with you guys at the highest level. Last summer, I used to have, especially in the UK, those big classes with 50 to 100 people attending my Zoom calls. Yes, it was fun, but I could never really work deeply with them because we're way too many people. This is why now I've decided to keep my classes in small numbers, so I can really work with you guys at the highest level. And also because I live in paradise. I don't want to be stuck in front of a computer 24/7. Let's be real. So again, build it. Two things. One, you're your avatar, and build your business, your offer, the way you wish existed. So take a look at all the programs, businesses you've attended yourself, and create your own perfect program. An ideal world. This is it. Build it the way you wished it existed when you were starting, because guess what? There are countless other people who will be looking for the same thing. You don't need the world to come to you, but just the right people. And there's so many right people that will come to you. They will see you as a brother, as a sister, as a twin, that you'll be very fulfilled and very, very, very profitably happy. All right, next. Here's another very powerful principle of business I mentioned earlier, and that is called having a quantifiable, measurable end result, a QMER. Because sure, your audience wants to know what is it they're going to achieve, doing what, and most importantly, how long is it going to take them to get to that desired outcome. Let me give you some examples. These are either my own or some of my previous students. Initially, my program's offer was very simple. Launch your podcast in 3 weeks. Then it morphed into launch your profitable podcast. And then find your first paying client in 30 days through LinkedIn or Facebook. One of my clients in the UK, lose 10 pounds in 30 days with only one exercise and 10 minutes a day. At the bottom, you have the Amazon business that I mentioned earlier. Find, source, select, and launch your first product on Amazon within 90 days. And here's a little tip as far as legalities. I learned that to an actual lawyer. For your timing, don't use in or within, because that exposes you to legal liabilities. Instead, use in as little as. Because I can provide you with a blueprint that works. It works for me, it works for my student, but I cannot control how someone else is going to implement it. Just like I can take the horse to the water, but I cannot drink for the horse. I can tell you what to do to lose 10 pounds, but I cannot do the push-ups for you. I can show you how to get your first client, but I cannot call the clients for you. Unless you offer it done for you, that's a different story. If you offer it done for you, then of course you have the right to charge 5 to 10 times more. That's different. So again, when you use the time frame in your offer, I highly recommend that you use in as little as instead of within or in 30 days or 90 days. Does that make sense, guys? So these are some examples. I'll share the slides with you guys later on. And we're going to be creating your offer live later today. Here's another incredibly powerful principle of business, and that is the client, the prospect, has to care about the problem before they can care about the solution, you and your offer. Let me repeat that. The client, prospect, customer has to care about the problem before they can care about the solution, you and your offer. What does that mean? Remember what I said at the start of this call? Your number one task as a coach, mentor, and activator is to educate your audience. What is a problem? Why the problem is here in the first place? What's going to happen if they don't take any action? And you need to really, emphasize and paint the picture, emphasize on the pain as much as possible so they can really feel the heat, so to speak. Does it make sense? This sentence and this principle? Because if I were to go at you straight away, trying to talk about my program and pitching you, you will shut me down before I can even blink. But if I spend the time to educate you, to make you understand what is a problem, why the problem is here in the first place, and what's going to happen if you don't take any action, then you will be much more willing and open to listen to me and to how to help you out to solve this. Because by me educating you, it's going to show that I know what I'm talking about. I'm competent in the process by me sharing my stuff, how I've overcome the same issue as you. Going to build rapport and trust with you. So this is very important, guys. So here's the principle in 4 steps. Number 1, you have to have a very specific problem. Educate them what is a problem. Number 2, why the problem exists in the first place, consequence of the problem, and the ultimate negative outcome as a result of inaction. Let me give you that example. Follow this principle using my offer, my business. So for me, I work with authors, coaches, and speakers, and the number 1 pain point I help them solve is the lack of clarity. If they don't have a clarity, what's going to happen is their message is going to be vague, and when it's vague, it's not going to relate or resonate with anyone, and that's going to result in them not getting any leads. No leads, no revenue, no business. May have to shut down business and look for a job. That's a very high-level overview of what I'm doing, but just to give you an example, implement the same principle to your business, to what you can do. Let's do it quickly. For your business, for example, Lorna, if you look at this 4-step approach, how would you apply that to your business? What is a problem that your customers face? Why the problem is here? What is a consequence of them not taking of the problem? And what is the ultimate negative outcome if they don't take action? It doesn't have to be perfect. This is just to brainstorm together.
Sure. So from one angle, I would say that a specific problem is women feeling disconnected from their sexuality. Reason that exists is that they have been taught that they are for the man, and they don't count, they don't matter, they are for the man. Consequence of the problem is they feel disconnected from themselves. They don't feel, they're not optimizing their own potential. and their relationships and their families and their work suffers from it.
And their worth as well, the self-worth. Absolutely. Self-confidence and all that thing that goes with it. So absolutely, I love that. But also make sure you really emphasize and paint the picture in a vivid way of the negative consequence so they can literally feel the pain, feel the heat.
Right.
Perfect. Awesome. Michael, you want to give it a go for your business in a short manner?
Yeah, of course. Appreciate the opportunity.
You're welcome.
Specific problem is spiritual superstitiousness.
Mhm.
The reason why the problem exists in the first place is because we come with programming, and it's like one addict looking for another addiction to cover one other addiction. So then we create polarities of higher, lower, better, lesser. This work is going to make me more spiritual. So what does this do? It did it in my own life. It fragments family.
Mhm.
It fragments your clients, and it repeats the process and pattern to them. Consequence of problem is being divided with yourself. Ultimate negative outcome as a result of inaction. This is the one thing that I grew up as a kid, that I pushed away Christianity because my mother was let's just say nice in the church and everything, and then we get home, she was like a sergeant. And I'm like, what the heck is it? And it was like this, literally. I'll make it short. Mom would be yelling at us or whatever, and then she would get a call and she'd be like, "Hola, hermana. Hi, sister. How you doing? Oh my gosh, it's so good to hear your voice." And we'd be like, "What the heck?" Right? So my point is this.
Two faces. Yes.
I
Okay.
realized, and it's justified though. We justify it, right? As when we don't know, right? So as a spiritual person, Michael justified his spiritual practice, and he would unconsciously judge other people, not realizing he was judging himself. So why is this the ultimate negative outcome as the result of inaction? Other people can have an opportunity to wake up, but because we don't align with ourselves truly at a frequency vibrational standpoint, not just what we say and what we show, but how we embody it, we actually perpetuate that existence of spiritual bypass, superstitious, racism, discrimination, etc.
Awesome. Thank you, brother. Thank you for sharing. So again, guys, this is the central point of everything you do. Again, number one, you educate. Once you educate, then you give them a taste of a small win. This, print it, put it somewhere you can always see it on your computer, even memorize it. The client and customer has to care about the problem before they can care about the solution you and your offer. And going back to that first slide, where is it? These two tasks. First, educate them and understanding what is the problem they're facing, why it's there, what would happen if they don't take any action to fix it. And once you've done that, then make them see, understand, realize, and believe that they can do it. And the best way is break it down. Always remember the analogy of eating an elephant one bite at a time, because nobody can swallow an elephant. So same thing here. No one that's never done it can become a six-figure, even make $1,000 if you've never done it. But show them how to get that first client. Nobody can become a model with six-pack if you can't even do that first exercise, lose that first 10 pounds. Nobody ends up playing in the NBA without even kicking a ball. So again, same thing here. Give them a taste of a win as soon as possible, because that's going to do wonders in their mind and their self-belief. Awesome. So here's the formula for creating your Godfather Irresistible Offer. There's two approaches. The first one is taking them toward pleasure, toward the desired outcome. And the second is to get them to move away from a pain. And last night, for the UK, Europe, and Asia call, my copywriter and marketing guy was phenomenal. I'll share the video later today. He said, focus first on the pain point, because people want to, as Tony Robbins mentioned way back in his first book, Unlimited Power, he said the two twin powers that rule our lives. Number one is pleasure, and number two is pain. People tend to go more towards avoiding pain than getting pleasure. So for you, focus more on the second part, which is the pain, the fear. And my my guy yesterday mentioned that, and I agree with them, mention the desired outcome only and when you have already accomplished that and you have all the credentials and you've done it enough, you have enough credibility to do it. Because if you're just starting, people don't know you. You haven't proven it. For example, for me, 5 years, 400 episodes of a podcast, 100 clients, 4 books, soon to be 5. I've earned my stripes. I can talk about it because I've proven it, not only for me, but for my students. So I would say recommend focus, especially if you're just starting out, focus on avoiding and moving away from the pain and fear of what they're feeling. Does it make sense? Awesome. So write this down. For example, very simple. I help client solve specific problem with proven solution and time period. As far as a guarantee is really up to you. My guarantee is, because again, I don't offer guarantee because I cannot control how the person is going to actually implement the work. But the one thing I will do, and my guarantee is I will work with you until you succeed. Because you have to show me that, hey, you're putting skin in the game. It's not like a product you buy, you return the next day, and you get a refund on exchange. So, for example, for me, I help authors, coaches, speakers launch their profitable podcast and YouTube channel so they can get the first or next paying client in as little as 60 days, even if you have no audience. That's very specific. Or the second one, if I want to go towards pain, it would be I help authors, speakers, coaches. What would be for me to that? Get the first launch of the profitable podcast without being a techie, without spending a ton of time or money to do so. So again, look at your business, take these two, and I'm going to share some examples with you guys. These are examples from previous clients of mine. I help female executives over 40 experience greater health and reverse type 2 diabetes, get off drugs, and so on and so forth. This is an actual client. I'll help male entrepreneurs in the 40s and 50s get the first paying client within 30 days. Again, I will change the word within to in as little as 30 days using the power of Facebook groups. Facebook group guys are an absolute gold mine. For the first 2 years, 100% of my client came from Facebook groups. Or another one, I help busy moms in the 30s lose 1 dress size in as little as 30 days without going to the gym with only 1 5-minute exercise per day. Or the same can be said, I help busy dadpreneurs. Actually, one of my clients in the UK is actually doing that. He helps dadpreneurs get fit, lose 10 pounds in 30 days. Another one, I help single dads find, select, source, and launch their first product on Amazon within 90 days. Here's another real good one. I help introverted entrepreneurs gain unshakable confidence and land a TEDx talk without any presentation experience in as little as 30 days. That was me a year ago. So these are some examples. I invite you to really sit down and spend at least an hour having fun, creating your own. Create as many versions of it as you can. Because the more you can, just like any muscle, the better you become at it. And then share them in the Facebook group so we can all not only learn from each other, but also help each other hone in on our messaging. Here's mine. So mine is I help authors, coaches, and speakers with a tiny or no audience at all launch a profitable podcast so they can get leads on demand and clients organically in as little as 60 days. I would even change that to say getting the first client or next client to make it even more specific, to get the first client or next client in as little as 60 days organically without spamming, even if you have no audience to start with. Something along those lines. So let's hear yours. Here's the formula. Let's have fun. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's just a starting point. Lorna.
I help women. I help women. Um, just a moment here.
No problem.
I'm just tapping back into what I've just done in these last few
Sure.
sessions or last few weeks. I help women identify and own their voice in as little as one session.
Beautiful. Love that. I love it. One suggestion. Women is pretty vague. Be more specific. What kind of women? Moms, corporate women, or in a specific industry. For example, let's say you work for 20 years in accounting, middle manager, for example, female accounting managers. Again, the point is the more specific you can be, the more magnetic your message will be. That's the main point. That's a great start. So if you can just hone in on what category of women, I would even go as far as saying, mention an age bracket, 30 to 40, 40 to 50. Ideally, use, for example, I'm a guy in my 40s. For me, it would be men in the 40s, men entrepreneurs in the 40s, for example. Again, because you're your avatar, they have to identify, relate, and resonate with you and see themselves in you.
Okay. So I help women in their 40s who were raised in a religious home and taught to save themselves for marriage to own their voice, their sexuality in as little as one session.
Now, this is beautiful. This is very specific. I love that. I'm getting goosebumps. Write this down. Perfect. What about you, Michael?
I help entrepreneurs to go from locked up to freed up and realize the soulpreneur that's inside of them.
Great start. Entrepreneurs too vague. Are you going to work with men, women? What age group? What type of? Again, here's some example. Wait. For example, you have dadpreneurs, mompreneurs, single dads, single moms. I even had one client, he works with single conservative entrepreneurs. For example, that's a bit too extreme, but it's very specific. Again, the more specific you can be, the more magnetic your message will be. It's going to speak straight, not just to the heart, but to the soul and wallet.
Yeah, I actually got a message earlier when you were sharing about clarity. It was like a little embarrassing to realize, but it's beautiful to see, is that the excuse that we wouldn't focus on clarity is that when somebody would ask Michael, what do you do? Oh my gosh, like that's a loaded question because it's like we can go anywhere, right? Within vibration. And it's like that was the vagueness of it because we never really like structure. So it's like harmonizing that structure is exactly like this is why we're revisiting this again. It's like we refuse that.
Yeah,
We refuse the structure. So structure is necessary.
exactly. So again, to answer that question, to help you rather, use the dining table test. That's, I would say, a much better version of the elevator pitch. Let's say someone asks you, so Michael, what do? You have to be able to answer in one specific sentence in such a way that is so clear that the person doesn't need to ask you any follow-up or clarification question or doesn't give you that look like, what is he talking about? You need to reach that point, because if you cannot reach that point, then you don't have a clear business. And actually, I would say you don't have a business at all. So have fun with it, with this. Practice with the dining table test. For example, Michael, you can practice this with your wife, your sister. Same thing for you, Lorna, the people around you, your kids, whatever. Just practice, have fun. Just like any muscle, the more you do it, the better you get at it. But the point is, have fun. Awesome. Creating offers, especially Irresistible Godfather Offer, it's going to change your life, because offer creation literally is wealth creation. You can literally create money out of thin air. When you create an offer that is, especially when it's laser focused with a very specific outcome, and it's clear what it requires, what it entails, for who and how long, and it's transformational, not just transformational, but generational transformation, then you can charge any amount of money. My coach, former pastor in Toronto. I paid him $10,000 2 years ago. The same program now is $25,000. He has a one-on-one VIP program for 3 months. He doesn't do any advertising. He's got a waiting list, $75,000. Because he gets results, transformation. He helps people 10x their sales without being salesy or sleazy. So again, when you do it that way and the laser focus clarity built around your zone of genius, when you create an offer, you're literally creating wealth and changing your family's trajectory and destiny, while at the same time doing the same for others. So if highly recommend you really spend some time, and highly recommend to get this book, $100 Million Offers by Alex Hormozy. Consume anything you can from this guy. He's the king of offer creation. So now that we're coming to the end of this call today, we have all the pieces for you to create your irresistible offer, your Godfather Irresistible Offer. And again, remember, it has to be very specific. First, you have to call out who it is for. Very specific. Then a specific and quantifiable outcome with a specific time frame. Just like, for example, for me, I help authors, coaches, speakers with a tiny or no audience at all launch a profitable podcast or YouTube channel. Here it says to get leads on demand and clients organically, but I would change that to get the first or next paying client in as little as 60 days. Something like this. So create your offer, share it in the Facebook group so that we can all learn from each other and support each other, but also to get inspired and to hone in and improve our offers. Even my offer is far from being perfect. So any questions? As we say in Canada, clear as mud? I hope
I
not.
was going to say, go ahead.
I hope not. I hope it's not clear as mud. No, I'm just joking. I'm just joking. Go ahead, Michael. Go ahead.
I was going to say, because what you asked me, how much is being, missed? I mean, yes, not just money, because we know people's lives are being transformed,
Mhm.
but the more we can receive, the more energetic transformation is actually possible.
Absolutely.
Is when I said tens of thousands of dollars, I'm like, holy smokes. It's like, because you don't have a clear offer, it's just I get on a call and I'm like, I'm just gonna let the heart just lead. And sometimes that's very egotistical, because it's like, oh, I'm just gonna speak from the heart. And we confuse that because we don't put the heart into creating something that's really gonna bring the heart into it. And
Yeah.
that one spoke to me volumes. Is like, oh, so I've been bypassing the responsibility as a business person to really bring the heart into, not just get on a call and think I'm coming from the heart. Because when people ask you what you do, it's like this is the bypass. And I really realized that it's
Mhm.
like I don't do anything. I simply serve as a mirror.
That's it.
Like most people are like, what? What does that actually mean?
That's it. Yeah.
You know? Yeah. So I will never stop sharing that, because I
Yeah.
honestly, attribute that 1,000%. However, having that crafted offer and bringing the reflection as a reflective message to initiate someone that for the first time, you're like, oh, now I get what it means in the offer. So yeah, I thought that was brilliant.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. So again, I sincerely, I'm even begging you guys to not be just a passive spectator. Implement that. This can change your business, your life. It did it for me. It took me literally from almost the doors of a grave. I was literally about to check out. You know my story. Zero self-confidence, not even zero, negative. If I was able to do it, there's no reason you guys can do it. All of you guys are much, much better than me, and especially better looking than me. So again, much better, more confident. Well, my hair still needs, I'm working on my hair, but other than that. So seriously, guys, please implement that. Don't just watch passively. This is not entertainment. I'm spending so much time here because this is my way of giving back and inspiring, because this changed my life. This works. So, and of course, this is only just scratching the surface. Inside Academy, I go way deeper, spend 3 weeks going into that. I'm going to talk about that on Friday, but that's a different story. But so yeah, please guys, just with the information I share you for free, I've had people literally get on conversation with an ideal client, people that were completely struggling, had no idea where to get the next lead, let alone next sale. Within a week or so, they were having 10 conversations with 10 clients, each client worth $10,000. I had people telling me that, hey, they would gladly pay $2,000 just for the free information that I'm sharing in the challenge. So again, this works. This is proven. Please implement it, guys. Do the work, do the assignments, and also because ultimately this is going to help you in a much deeper way. Once you identify your zone of genius, it's going to help you find what is your purpose in this lifetime. Give you a purpose for you, a direction, which is way deeper than just launching, sorry my language, a stupid podcast. You know what I mean? It's way bigger, way deeper. It's bringing your true gifts from the heart while having fun, helping change people's, not just lives, but transform their family's trajectory. And at the same time, of course, make a lot of money. Sure, we all need to make money, but let's do so in a way that's meaningful, impactful, purposeful. Not just for me to win, you have to lose. No, we win together. When we win together, we're going to be doing business and being friends for a long time, as opposed to as soon as you pay, you get buyer's remorse and you start hating the person. No. So again, guys, this works. Here's an invitation. Book a call with me for next week, one-on-one, to brainstorm how we can implement this for your business and further brainstorm. I'll share my link. I mean, you guys already have my Calendly. Here's a sneak peek for tomorrow. Tomorrow, we're going to be literally launching a podcast. We're going to be creating your podcast assets and foundation, format your podcast, naming your podcast the right way, creating a YouTube channel if you haven't already, creating your podcast cover art, thumbnail, showing you how to do recording, editing, which honestly, all of you guys know that by now because you've been using Zoom for a long time. You're not beginners. And bonus expert talk tomorrow. My dear friend, alumni of my academy, and my publisher, Mary Gooden, she's going to talk about the power of books. When you combine a book, not just a book, a #1 international best-selling book with your podcast, then that's magic, because the book is going to be your best business card. I use my books strictly as my business card. Because let's face it, when you go to an event, you meet someone, when they say, hey, Michael, Lorna, Travis, Elijah, awesome talking. You can have your business card. If you give them a business card, they all end up in the bin. And the ones you do keep after a day, you have no idea who's that from. But a book, nobody throws away a book. And also even more powerful, imagine this, Michael or Lorna. You ask me, hey, can I have your business card? I say, I don't have a business card, but here's my book. I swear to you guys, you should see the reaction. I had people literally gasp at me. You have a book? Because nothing screams expertise, authority, leadership than a book. It elevates you in the minds without saying a single word to being seen as an expert, an authority, and leader. Here's another powerful tip. When you go to an event, conference, whatever, contact the host and ask them how many people are going to be attending. Let's say 200. Yes, it's going to be an investment, but if you were to leave a book on each seat, that's going to make you stand out like there's no tomorrow. And all you need is just one client. If you leave 100 books or 50 books on 50 chairs, what are the likelihood of you getting at least one client? I would say pretty high. You just need one client to recoup the investment for the books. You might spend $500, $1,000 to print all his books, but one client is going to recoup that. And more importantly, the people that you will get clients, referrals, like there's no tomorrow from the book. I'm still getting referrals from my books, my second book that I wrote 2 years ago. Because again, a book spells expertise, authority, leadership like there's no tomorrow. And one of the best ways to publish your first or next book is this, a podcast. Because a 200-page book is about 60,000 words. A 30-minute podcast is 6,000 words. So if you do 10 30-minute podcast episodes, technically you have enough content to publish a book. I mean, you can do it, but I would not recommend that, because that's a better way to do it is, let's say after 30, 40 episodes, you talk, for example, Lorna, with women, with the issue they have. You can write a book on, hey, lessons I learned after I spoke with 30 women, 30 leaders. Or lessons I learned after speaking with 20 CEOs, high-power leaders. Or even better, you see the name on the book, so you can't really see, but my books are strictly by invitation to the guests on my podcast. The people on the book, they all been on my podcast. I invited them to come share a story and a book, and each of them paid to be in the book. I didn't write this book. I wrote the intro, the foreword, I wrote a chapter, I wrote the conclusion and the back cover. But all of them, these people shared their story around a specific theme. Like book number 1 was about how are you making the world a better place? Book number 2 is about what's your gift? And book number 3, which is going to go soon, is what is your but I did it moment, meaning what is one thing that you overcame when nobody believed in you? Even sometime maybe yourself even didn't believe in yourself, but you still made it. What is your but I did it moment? This is a book I'm working on right now. It's going to launch in the summer. I'm going to send you guys more information next week. But yeah, just to tell you, the podcast is going to open up the world for you. Not even speaking about public speaking, TED Talks, and so on and so forth. But anyways, I'm going way over tangent here. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your trust to spend your evening with me. Any questions, I'm here in the Facebook group. I'll see you guys tomorrow, same time. God bless. Any question?
One question.
Yeah.
Yeah, quick question. What with the various things we've got on the go for tomorrow, are we still within that hour time frame, just so I can plan?
Yes, about an hour. Today will be an hour, 15 minutes,
Okay.
13 minutes. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you. This has been great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Take care.
Eamon.
Cheers.
Thanks,
Great
Michael.
to see you. Great to see you, Lorna.
Good to see you,
Excited to see
Michael.
what we come up with.
You
Absolutely.
bet. Absolutely. That'll be great.
Let's go create magic together. Take care, guys. Cheers.
Yes, let's go.
Bye-bye.